The Gears of War 4 multiplayer beta is finally here, bringing with it the first original Gears outing on current gen consoles. And after 4 games dating all the way back to the early days of Xbox 360 in 2006, Gears of War has been around long enough to have a solid reputation, at least not when it comes to its multiplayer experience. With newcomers to Coalition at the helm, there's always a worry that the experience won't be what we remember, or perhaps worse, that the experience doesn't do enough to differentiate itself from everything we've seen before. With that in mind, consider these 5 ways that the Gears of War 4 beta retains its old style charm, and 5 ways it keeps the experience box fresh for a new generation of Gears fans. The Gears of War series has never been afraid to try some new and exciting ideas when creating their multiplayer game modes. With the introduction of Beast Mode in Gears of War 3, which allowed you to play some of the more unique locust enemies for the first time, and Overrun Mode in Gears of War Judgment, which combined all the fun of Beast Mode with the strategic planning of series staple Horde Mode. And judging by the new beta, Gears of War 4 isn't likely to break that inventive streak, with 2 new multiplayer game modes available straight off the bat. Dodgeball, which takes the standard elimination formula and adds an interesting twist, allowing team members to bring back their dead comrades by killing opposing team members, resulting in a constant tug of war until one team is completely obliterated. And co-op team deathmatch, which brings all the fun of a standard team deathmatch down to a more manageable level, while pitting a team of user-controlled cogs against a team of AI-controlled swarm, keeping the tense nail-biting combat of a standard online match, but removing some of the more difficult learning curves that come with playing against the real-life players. And whilst old school modes like Classic Team Deathmatch are still going to be available, introductions of new modes like this means Gears of War 4 is worth picking up, even for veterans of the series. Even though this is a new direction for the Gears series in terms of story and tone, you can rest assured that at its core this is still a true Gears experience. The gameplay is still a balance between hot and heavy run and gunning, and tactical cover-based shooting. With the inclusion of now series staples of tagging and planting grenades, combined with the roadie running, dodge rolling and third-person shooting that have existed in Gears since day one, there's little here that Gears fans will be missing out on. And even though the same old gameplay might seem like it's been done to death, Coalition have added just enough new features to make the experience seem fresh. Features such as Gears of War is probably as far away from an RPG as you could get, swapping out the tactical turn-based combat and complex item management with the ability to run up and chainsaw your enemies from their ass to their eyeballs. The XP and levelling are still as integral to the core Gears multiplayer experience as they've ever been, allowing players to unlock bonuses such as new characters and weapon skins every time they do well in a match. And although the ribbon system introduced in Gears of War 3 is still present, the new addition of bounties are a welcome addition for those players who want to challenge themselves. In essence, bounties work the same way as placing a bet. Before every match you choose from a limited number of bounty cards available to play, each with their own challenges and rewards, allowing players the chance to win a big boost to XP if they can get X amount of kills, or win X amount of multiplayer games. The risk of bounties lies in their limited uses, with players needing to weigh up their odds of being able to achieve the set goals before using their last big XP boost. It'll be interesting to see how bounties affect the way people play once the game proper arrives later this year. Part of the appeal of Gears of War multiplayer is the countless playstyles that you can adopt, even within a single match. Want to play a team-based shooter where every man knows his job and communication is a must? Then get a team together and go for it. Want to get a buddy and just take the world on as a pair? Then boot up the game and let's go. Or, you want to tie a bandana around your head and pretend you're Rambo? That's what the chainsaw's for. With all the amendments that have been made to the Gears formula for this new outing, the Coalition have done a fantastic job of keeping the gameplay balanced, and with the addition of a constantly updating skill rank that ensures you're pitted against players of a similar skill, you're free to play exactly how you want. So there's no need to worry if you spent the last 4 games sneaking up on people with the chainsaw, because that's very much still an option. As much as we love the Gears games up to this point, there's definitely something to be said about the way the characters move. Now, it's a well-known fact that the members of the COG army don't exactly have it easy when it comes to the amount of weight they have to carry. With huge armour, giant weapons and not to mention their huge muscle. And whereas that does wonders for the look of the game, translation to the way the characters moved wearing this stuff, whether or not intentional, left a lot to be desired. For a game that focuses as much on moving from cover to cover, slow weighed down transitions and sluggish movement felt like a brick wall that has to be climbed before each action set piece, and the Coalition seemed to have taken note. The movement in Gears of War 4 is swift and fluid, with each little flick of the thumbsticks warranted an expected result from your on-screen counterpart, resulting in a more comfortable gaming experience and less unwarranted deaths. A big part of Gears of War 4's marketing has focused on some of the newer aspects of the game, from the introduction of the Swarm to the reveals of some never before seen Gears of War weapons, like the drop shot and the buzzcut. But old school Gears fans can be safe in the knowledge that they're never going to be too far from some of their old school favourites. Alongside obvious choices like the Mark II Lancer, the Hammerburst and the Nasher shotgun, players can expect to see the return of the long-shot sniper rifle, the ever-reliable bolt-on pistol, and of course the more explosive options of the boom shot grenade launcher and the devastating torque bow. And whereas we're really excited to see some new weaponry landed in our hands, sometimes the old ones really are the best, and we're glad to see the Coalition hasn't completely abandoned some of the more iconic weapons from the series. It's well known that the 7th generation of gaming wasn't the most visually appealing point in gaming history, and Gears was no exception. With lifeless scenery and more browns than Marty McFly's Christmas card list, it's safe to say that the visuals in Gears games were due an overhaul. And that's exactly what the Coalition did. Excluding the obvious visual changes in character models, which favour the stranded style characters and new enemies the Swarm, as opposed to the hulking cog soldiers and Locust of yesteryear, the Coalition did a great job of removing the drab, lifeless colour palette that so many games of the previous generation defaulted to, and instead adopting a bright and gorgeous graphical style which fully takes advantage of the 1080p 60 frame per second graphical improvements. And although the beta only features a handful of maps, we can't wait to see how this style carries over to the 10 plus maps that the game will eventually ship with. Even though it's clear that every effort has been made to make the new Gears look as beautiful as possible, what would be the point if you couldn't smear that beauty with a whole load of blood and guts? And in that department, Gears of War 4 doesn't disappoint. Gore is back and as gruesome as ever. From the delightfully gritty executions, to the savage chainsaw finishes, to the oh so satisfying headshots. There's really something for every sick twisted individual out there to get their teeth into. Apart from an extension to the story, the main thing we expect to see from a new installment to a game series is new gameplay features that keep the overall experience fresh, and the Gears of War 4 beta has revealed a sample of what it's got hiding up its sleeve. Active reloads have always been a part of Gears, allowing players to perform precise timed reloads where failure means jamming your gun and being out of action for a few seconds, but succeeding means a quicker reload and more powerful bullets. Gears 4 brings the addition of a full clip active reload, meaning that even if you haven't been in a firefight yet, you can active reload your clip so that when enemies do show up, you've already got the most damaging bullets at your disposal. Another cool new feature is the ability to grab enemies from over chest high walls and finish them with a swift melee attack. And whilst previous games had a similar feature, allowing you to slide over cover and deliver a disorientating kick, it's cool to see this mechanic updated for a new game. No matter how much you change the look of the game, the way it plays, or what cool new features you add, a game still needs to be enjoyable. And whether you're a die-hard Gears veteran, or a newcomer looking for a cool game to play, if the beta has proven anything, it's that the Gears formula still works as a great way to have some fun. Whether you're blowing an enemy into chunks with the Nasher, chainsawing them into little bits with the Lancer, or brutally beating them down with an execution, the Gears 4 beta has shown that there's enough to keep us really excited until the full game's release in October this year. So there you have a list of 10 ways that the Gears of War 4 beta keeps things mixed up while still staying true to the Gears heritage. If you've noticed anything that we've missed, let us know in the comments. If you like this sort of thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. And other than that, thank you very much for watching. Bye.